morning. Today I want to share with you Moon, Earth's best friend. This story was written by Stacy McNulty and illustrated by Stevie Lewis. Let's learn more about our moon and why she's Earth's best friend. Look up, look up, look up. It's me, Moon. I'm Earth's best friend. Where Earth goes, I go. We have been together since the beginning. Almost. Let me tell you our story. Once upon a time, about 4.5 billion years ago, a space rock the size of Mars crashed into baby Earth. Big ol' mess. Pieces of rock, chunks of earth, and even lava were blasted into space. This crashed trash came together to make me a satellite. Actually, I'm Earth's only natural satellite. Natural means not created by Earthlings. Satellite means I circle the Earth. She has thousands of human-made satellites too. They're mostly metal and plastic, not exactly best friend material. Guess that makes me Earth's #1 real sidekick. It takes me 27.3 days to go around Earth once. It also takes me 27.3 days to spin once. Coincidence? I think not. It means I'm dependable. My face always smiles at Earth. You never see my backside. But you probably noticed I look different every night. Fun, right? Check out my phases. I start off as a new moon, and then I become a waxing crescent. Then there's first quarter, waxing gibbous. Then there's a full moon, which doesn't make wolves howl. A waning gibbous, the last quarter, a waning crescent, and then back to new moon, and the cycle starts all over again. Some other planets have best friends too. I am Moon, but I'm not the only moon in the solar system. Jupiter has moons, so do Neptune, Saturn, Mars, and Uranus. Of all the moons, Earth is the 5th biggest moon. There's Ganymede from Jupiter, that's the largest moon. There's Titan of Saturn is second. Third is Callisto of Jupiter. Then there's Io of Jupiter. And the 5th biggest is our moon of Earth. I'll always be Earth's pal, but that doesn't mean we're twinsies. She's bigger, 4 times bigger, and her gravity is 6 times stronger. So the Earth is 24,874 miles around. That's big. The moon is 6,784 miles around. While still big, not nearly as big as Earth. Gravity's Earth is 6 times stronger. Gravity is the invisible force that makes apples fall to the ground instead of flying up into the sky. A cow that weighs 600 pounds on Earth would weigh only 100 pounds on me, the moon. Speaking of cows, Earth has cows, and nursery rhymes starring cows. But a cow has never jumped over me. I'm too far away for even a kangaroo to make that leap. The average distance between Earth and me, 238,855 miles. You could fit 30 Earths in that distance and probably a gazillion cows. It's a long ways away. BFFs help each other out. I keep Earth from being too wobbly. This might be the most important thing I do, and you probably didn't even know about it. With me, the Earth is gently spinning. My gravity's at work. Without me, topsy-turvy. Don't worry, moon gazers, you're never without me. I don't disappear during the day. I'm always here for Earth. You just can't see me when it's super bright out, or when it's cloudy, or when I'm on the other side of the Earth. I can prove I'm always here. Check out the ocean's tides. High tide happens twice a day. Low tide happens twice a day. That's gravity again, my gravity, pulling on the Earth's oceans. I have the best views of Earth, and Earth has the best views of me. But some Earthlings wanted to see me up close. I'm the only other place in the universe where man has set foot, and I do mean man. I'm still waiting for my first female astronaut. I've had 12 moonwalkers and a few left footprints, and some of those footprints are still here. No wind or rain or snow to mess them up. Other things you won't find on me: oxygen, liquid water, no mosquitoes, which I think is a good thing, no plants, no animals, not even cows. You will find on me some presents from Earth, stuff left behind by untidy astronauts. There's an American flag, nail clippers, a golf ball, a hammer, falcon feather. There's rocks, really big rocks, and even more rocks. Earth and I have so much fun together, like when we play Eclipse. Solar eclipse, I hide sun for a few minutes. We play this game during the day. Then there's lunar eclipse. Earth's shadow passes over me. We play this at night. I'm always here for Earth. I'm always here for you. Where Earth goes, I go. And where Earth goes, you go. Guess that makes us best friends too. Let's learn a little bit more about our new best friend, the moon. We just read Moon, Earth's best friend. In the story, the moon showed you her phases. But it's important to know that the moon is not actually changing the way it looks. It looks different to us because of the way the sun's light is reflected off the moon. The moon does not produce its own light. The moon just reflects the sunlight. So when you look up at the night sky and you see a bright, glowing moon, it's because the sun's light is reflecting off the moon and it's making it glow. I want to show you something you can do at home to help you see the different phases of the moon and what causes them. I have here a styrofoam ball and a pencil. I'm going to take my pencil and stick it in the bottom of my styrofoam ball so that I have a holder. And then you need a light. This is going to be our sun. So I have my moon and I have my sun. My moon is going to reflect the light of the sun. So what you want to do is you want to take your moon and hold it up to your sun. And the moon, you need to turn towards your left to show how the moon is rotating around the earth. So I'm the earth and I'm going to move my moon around me. So I'm going to move to the left. And as you do this, you want to turn off your lights at home. As you do this, you can see that the sun is always lighting up half of my moon. Depending on where the moon is in relation to the sun and the earth, makes the moon look different to us on earth. If I take my moon and hold it directly in front of my sun, this is what we call a new moon. So to me, here, the sun would appear dark. As I turn to the left, I'm going to get a waxing crescent. I see a little sliver of light on the right side of the moon. As I turn a little further, I see the first quarter. As I continue to turn, I see a waxing gibbous. And then as I turn more, I'm completely away from the moon. So now I have a full moon. It's all lit up. I turn a little bit more and I'm going to now get a waning gibbous. I turn a little more and I'll see a third quarter. As I turn a little bit more, I'm going to get a waning crescent. There's just going to be a little sliver of light on the left side of my moon. And then I get back to my new moon phase, and the cycle starts all over again. As you do this at home, you can take pictures of the moon, or you can even draw it out. Let me show you something you can do at home to make a fun science snack out of this. So we just did a demonstration where we got to see what causes the phases to appear, why the moon looks differently when the moon rotates around the Earth. What we're going to do now is we're going to create a yummy snack to show us these phases, and this will help us learn more about the phases and why they're named the way they are. So what you need for this activity is you need a sheet of paper, a marker or a pencil, and then you're going to want some chocolate cookies with white icing. So these are yummy and they'll help us learn about moon phases. So I put my Earth in the middle of my paper, and then since we started with our activity, I started with a new moon with the moon directly in front of the sun. I'm going to put that at the very top of my paper. So I put new moon at the top of my paper, and then we started rotating towards my left. And so to the left of new moon, I put waxing crescent, then first quarter, then I have waxing gibbous, then full moon. So then I start repeating my phases in reverse order. I go waning gibbous, third quarter, waning crescent, and then new moon. Okay, so let's start creating our cookies to look like our moon phases. On my phone, as I was doing it, I took pictures of what each phase looked like to me. So I'm going to use my pictures for a reference. The new moon was all dark. So to create an all dark moon, what you need to do is you need to scrape all the icing off of an Oreo. So take your cookie and scrape all the icing off and put it. That represents my new moon. And then I'm going to go to my waxing crescent. So my picture shows that I had a little sliver of light because I was moving to the left. I had a little sliver of light on the right side of my moon where the sun was lighting up just a little sliver of the moon. And so I want to create that by grabbing a cookie. And I'm going to take my spoon and I'm going to scrape off everything except just a sliver. And you may have to practice a few times. If you mess up a few cookies, that's okay. You can just eat the evidence of your mistake. I'm going to take it and I'm going to call that my waxing crescent. And so take your pictures and go around and keep adding your cookies to represent the different phases. So as you can see, my cookies are far from perfect when representing the phases of the moon, but they do a good job of showing me what's going on, and they may help me figure out what's going on with the names of my phases. If you look, you'll see that you have two phases that are called quarter moons. You may look at them and say, well, half the moon is lit up at that point. Why is it called a quarter moon? So let's think about this. Your moon is actually a full circle. So when we're looking at the moon, we're only seeing half of the moon. And so the half that we see is only half lit up when it's the first and third quarter. So if we're seeing half of the moon lit up, then that's actually a quarter of the moon that is lit up. So that's why we call it the first and the third quarter. The new moon and full moon, you can see where they get their names. New moon is when it's a brand new moon. Nothing is lit up. That's what we call a new moon. And then the full moon is when the full moon is lit up. And then you have these crescents. We have crescents, and that's when it's a small sliver. And then gibbous is when it's a larger portion. It's more than half of the moon is lit up, is the gibbous phase. Then you have waxing and you have waning. When it's waxing, the surface of the moon, the portion that is lit up, is growing. So that's waxing. When it's waning, that means the portion of the moon that is reflecting light is getting smaller. So once you're all done learning about the phases of the moon and you feel like you've got it all down, then you can sit back and enjoy your moon phase snack.